welcome to First Issue Club. We are your weekly comic book podcast that talks about first issues, your gateway into the world of visualized storytelling, aka comic books.
That was a really eloquent way to describe a comic book.
See what happens when I come back into
Poetic.
the fold?
It was poetic. I'll tell you what, now that you're back, Law and Order has once again been established.
Actually, I think we did pretty fine without you, to be
I love it when we're kind of unleashed and allowed to just explore the space, but those can only be a once in a while type episode.
Mr. Organized Mike D over here always shits on our fun.
I wasn't going to say anything.
You were that we stuttered around the intro? Were you going to say it?
I just didn't know what happened with the music. It was like bleep,
Oh,
doop dop.
yeah. We had a different musical intro.
And then it played 4 or 5 seconds of the normal song and then just disappeared immediately.
I noticed that as
Was
well.
that a creative decision?
I don't know. The creative director is sitting here to my left.
I honest to God, flipped 15 seconds back because I was like, mine's glitching. And then it did the exact same thing a second time. And I was like, what? I was like, was this on purpose?
I think it was just like you know what it is? It's actually genius what he did.
Right.
Because it catches you off guard and kind of brings your attention back in. Normally
Right.
you just flip on a podcast and you kind of zone out. This, we have a typical format that we follow.
Shit.
This one, completely off the rails.
I know what I did. I made an edit after I had finalized it and moved it to the wrong spot. So I'm sorry about that. I should have checked my final product.
Yeah, so listeners, you didn't have a stroke.
So that's why, hey, shit happens.
It does, doesn't it? And the world keeps on spinning, baby.
Hey, you didn't even comment. That's big of you.
He's doing it right now. On the
I
episode.
know.
You normally give us a little shout out on the text chain. You're like, I'm fucking having a seizure over here.
I know.
This fucking thing isn't
Having
the
a
way that
seizure over
isn't
here.
perfect.
I told you guys maybe 6 months ago I was going to stop caring about this show, and I have.
You've completely checked out.
You think we lost listeners because of the glitch?
No.
No. The only reason I brought it up now during this intro is because I felt a little bit of energy my way about not being there last week. So here you go. Energy back. This week, transition, we're covering Land of the Living Gods on Aftershock from Isaac Mogajane and Santtos. So excited to get into that book. Love Aftershock and talking about independent comic books, getting a breather from the big two these last couple of weeks, which is nice.
We got a Super Bowl this week.
But we had a Super Bowl. And you know what? I was shocked that the team that won.
Yeah, me too.
I had put money on the other team.
I was shocked that the boring ass team that nobody cared about won.
And then there was that one commercial that was really funny that a lot of people are talking about. And then the other commercial that was a little controversial.
Yeah, I loved all the Harambe jokes. It was so funny.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird callback to a thing that happened a few years ago. But the commercials were good. I liked that one commercial. The chip commercial was fun, and the beer commercial was okay. So yeah, halftime show, that was shocking.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I did not expect that.
I didn't
think there's going to be a lot of letters written to what channel is the Super Bowl played on? NBC?
Yeah, sure.
Whichever one. There's a lot of letters going to be written to them.
All right. Well, that was our Super Bowl recap, and now we have news.
God, the inside joke is that we're recording this before the Super Bowl.
But you're going to be hearing it after the Super
Well,
Bowl.
it wasn't really an inside joke because the joke went on for 2 or 3 minutes. So if you didn't get the joke, then I guess you weren't on the inside. I don't know how that works. You've been holding a phone up to your face for the last 10 minutes. I assume you're going to read us some news.
Yeah, there was just a countdown of the top 10 movers and shakers of books that have changed in value this past week of this recording.
Are they current books or books because of movie news that has dropped?
A mix.
Oh.
Okay, because I know
You guys are dialed into this more than I am.
I am dialed in.
More of this is probably news to me than it is to you, but I thought something fun to talk about.
Let's do it.
Yep.
While
I
we're
like it.
killing some time.
Which is
easing
funny
into our
because
book.
you're the one that buys the most slabs, so it seems like you should be the most dialed in.
No, I like classic covers.
Mm.
And Spec and classic covers ain't the same,
You
baby.
think you'll get into classic cars because you're into classic covers?
Maybe in my retirement,
Yeah.
Oh, you think?
You'll start collecting like
I'm
Corvettes.
going to be driving around my Amazing Spider-Man #1 in a 1956 red Corvette.
You're just showing it to
Ooh-wee.
people?
You're gonna take it to
I'm gonna
the
be-
drive-in.
Yeah, I'm going to be blaring that Beach Boys apple bottom jeans
Boots with the fur.
cover that everyone's loving lately.
Oh, I have heard that.
Yeah.
People should do more of like driving around their collectibles and showing them off.
Yeah. Hey, ladies. And I wave a slab at them.
Yeah.
Ever seen a mint in box Furby?
Actually,
wow, wee woo be wow woo.
I also
That's
have this
Furbish
car.
for I love you.
I have this car in Hot Wheel form.
The car I'm driving. Would you like to see a miniature version? That is one fandom. While I respect all fandoms,
Micro Machines?
Hot Wheels is a fandom that is crazy to me
Oh, yeah.
because those collectors go crazy for Hot Wheels, like crazy for Hot Wheels.
You think they go crazier than like other fandoms?
For what it is, yes.
Okay.
100%.
The fact that it's a tiny little car
Mhm.
and all you can do with it is look at it and put it on a little track.
Yep.
Yeah. They're
these
pretty
dudes-
into it for
these
that.
dudes don't, or these. It's not just dudes, but these people don't take them out of their boxes.
Let's be honest, it's
they,
all dudes.
They hang them on the wall. Like they know
Oh,
when
yeah.
the
The
supplier gets at Walmart and all these places and like meets them at the door and like rummages through the boxes for their favorite car or whatever.
I saw a video of this guy being like, okay, here we've got the 1973 Porsche XT, blah, blah, blah. And then he puts it on a little track and it goes around. And then he's like, all right, picking up speed, that's kind of a medium length drive. And then he takes it and puts it out next to how far it made it on his track.
Uh-huh.
And then you see like hundreds of Hot Wheels. And it's funny to see like,
He's like cataloged them all.
yeah, like different ones have different like speed ratings and he's like ranking them all. I watched this video for so long. I was like vexed by it.
Hang on, wait. But
Does he
wouldn't it,
grease the bearings?
like,
no, it's just some of them are like lighter than others and are more
but
aerodynamic.
like, if he's
I
a
guess.
collector, like, wouldn't he not want to roll them around?
I guess he's the sort of collector who likes to enjoy them.
He only
Like-
collects the fast ones. If it doesn't meet a certain time, throws it away.
It's like we're the type who like to read rather
Got
than
it,
just send
yeah.
comics to CGC.
He's the one that likes to play with them like a 4-year-old,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
which is,
that's fine.
it is fine.
Mad respect. Coming in at number 10 on the comics to shift in price this past week. Black Panther 3,
Oh, yeah.
no big surprise.
Yep.
Number 10 is the 1 in 25 cover, which is getting colossal numbers for a 1 in 25 that is
Yeah.
brand spanking new.
I believe that is well, first of all, it's a first appearance of a new character.
A villain?
Well, we don't know yet. It's
Okay.
a new character in the Black Panther lore.
That may or may not be very inconsequential.
Correct. But the
Has
1
a-
in 25 is the first cover appearance as well for this
Okay.
character.
Double whammy.
Yeah.
A raw copy of that sold for $600 this past week.
Of the 1 in 25?
Yes.
Because the regular cover is like a $20 or something.
No. The regular cover is going for like 45.
It's going
Oh,
way
is it
up.
really?
Mhm.
It's
Well,
still a first appearance.
yeah, we'll get to that.
Hmm.
Fair market value of this thing by the end of that week was down to $400.
God.
You gotta love the fluctuation of this shit.
The people who buy at the highs, like you have to learn your lesson at some point, or you just have so much money
don't
you just
care.
don't give a fuck.
They don't care.
I guess.
It's Jake Paul. That's who's doing it.
Yeah, right.
It's like clowns like that who just like, I have so much money.
Who got his money back from the Pokemon fiasco?
Yes,
heard that.
Update. Yeah, he got his money back.
As much as I shouldn't feel bad for that guy, I was kind of like, man, that fucking blows.
But you want him to be screwed for the right reasons.
Yes, exactly.
His
right.
brother's the real shithead. He's just like kind
I
of
wouldn't
a
know the
leech,
difference.
A leech
I
on.
always confuse the two. All right, number 9. I think Greg knows what this one's going to be. Amazing Spider-Man 210.
Madam Web. First
Madam
appearance.
Web's first appearance. Yeah. So Sony has apparently announced that either Madam Web is going to be in a movie
Mhm.
or get her own movie.
Early speculation is she's getting her own film, which like explores the Spider-Verse.
Oh, so it's like a Fellini thing? 'Cause you
What's
said-
a Fellini?
Well, you said film, so I didn't know if it was going to be like
Oh,
an
it's cinema, baby.
Auteur.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this book, high sale this past week, was $950 for a graded 9.6.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No.
and then the raw copies fair market value is around $220.
Jesus Christ.
No way that book's going to sustain even that 220 mark, I don't think.
No.
I would imagine that if they made this, if this movie does get made, that Madam Web is going to kind of be a watcher sort of character that's going to be like, let me spin you a tale of this over here, and then it goes to another thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, she's going to be she's the Crypt Keeper of the Spider-Verse.
I'm Madam Web.
I like spiders. All right, Amazing Spider-Man 637. We already know. Wait, that's a completely different book.
637 is that the first appearance of the Goblin Queen as the Doctor? Dr. Kafka?
Hang on. It's a different Madam Web.
So they're hedging their bets.
The mantle of Madam Web gets transferred.
So that made it to 7? So that's
eight.
probably the
8.
That's number 8.
That's number 8 on the
okay.
list. So that fluctuated from worth a penny to $62 is basically the average of where it's going for.
Man.
The high, someone sold a 9.8 for 220, which
Bravo. If you could unload those, bravo. You've been holding on to them for 20 years, waiting. Just waiting.
Yeah, that was a straight up worthless comic the week before.
Yep.
All right, we got a Black Panther 3 variant, the Gary Frank variant. This one, I'm trying to remember what that one looked like. Okay, so this was the really cool homage cover.
Yes.
That was like an old Marvel Age cover homage.
The Daredevil one?
Yes.
Oh, I wanted that one so bad. It was Elektra as Daredevil from the Marvel Age cover, where Daredevil's on the cover as well.
Yeah.
How much did it go for? Because I'm fucking irritated.
Oh, sorry. I said the Black Panther 3. I meant the Daredevil One Without Fear variant.
Yes.
Blah. Missing my titles up. Going for around $90.
That's one I'm going to watch because I definitely want to grab that
Wasn't
cover.
it a 50 ratio variant?
Was it a 1 in 50? I thought it was a 1 in 25. But it's so hotly
It's a 1 in 25.
wanted that, yeah. Okay.
All right, the Gary Frank variant for Black Panther. $41.
Is that the just regular Black Panther as just on the cover?
Yes, that is.
I was not too impressed with that cover.
He's centered on the tree.
Yeah.
He's always in trees, this guy.
Yep.
Yeah, use a road.
He's a tree guy.
Get in a car.
Especially for Wakanda having so many skyscrapers and stuff.
Yeah.
Why is this guy always in a tree?
We get it. You're a cat.
All right, number 5, Star Wars books. There's a bunch of Star Wars Darth Maul books.
Darth Maul. Oh, okay.
Specking this week because of some spoilers for Book of Boba Fett. So we'll leave those things out. But
wasn't one of the Star Wars covers because Grogu and the Mandalorian are on the cover?
Yeah, that's right. There was a second print.
Yeah, something
of
like that.
There's like a gold cover and a silver cover, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the gold might be the less
desirable
one.
Ooh.
I'm not sure. But in any case, Darth Maul 3 going for $721 for a
Fuck you.
CGC 9.9, which given 9.9 graded things always go for several $100 more
is that
than a 9.8.
the Darth Maul series that came out a couple of years ago?
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you might have that, you think?
I definitely bought the first couple. I don't think I bought the third one though. What's big about the third one?
What's a
It's
spoiler, so we
from
can't say.
Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Same thing with
It's the first appearance of Darth Maul's wing.
I can know.
Same thing with Darth Maul 2 is
First appearance of Darth Maul's butt.
it was like a cameo appearance, I believe, and then like a full appearance.
Okay.
So another book that's specking.
Of the butt.
Don't tell me. I breezed over these because I don't even want to know. I haven't watched that last episode
I
of Book
haven't
of
either.
Boba Fett
I
yet.
haven't either.
So cool your chompers on the spoilers, BK.
Cool your chompers.
New Teen Titans 21. This is a book from 1982.
Oh.
So
I'm trying to figure out what's going on inside of DC right now.
the Titans show casted a couple more villains.
Oh, okay.
And we've got Brother Blood and Mother Mayhem in New Teen Titans 21 from the 80s. So that book went up to $190 for a graded copy, and then around $60 for a raw.
Could give two shits.
Amazing Spider-Man 88, and this is what you were alluding to earlier, Greg.
Oh, Dr. Kafka.
Is Dr. Kafka, yep. So, and a lot of these characters, when we were talking about, I was trying to think of who the Red Goblin or Queen Goblin was going to be. I was thinking it could be like any number of old characters that are kind of popping in and out of Spider-Man. I kind of thought it was going to be Liz Allen, and then I was like, then that's Amazing Spider-Man #1.
Yeah. Let me just go pick that up.
I don't think that's going up in value because of
because of Dr.
because
Kafka.
of Queen Goblin. But
that's like Magic showing up in giant-sized X-Men #1.
Yeah. But so, yeah, there's just some comparable things or that character or something showing up in that book. So that's why that book.
We still don't know who the Goblin Queen is yet, right?
We do.
Oh, we do? Is it Kafka?
It is the Doctor, yeah.
Okay, I haven't read that issue yet.
And then Black Panther 3A cover. Number one spot for the second week in a row. 185 for a CGC 9.8. And then went up to a fair market value of $57 at the
Did you guys get it?
week.
Do you have it?
I did,
I have it.
thanks to a good friend of mine in New Jersey.
Oh.
New Jersey Doug.
New Jersey Doug, shout out.
And JD.
Helping the man out, and I really appreciate you.
Hell yeah.
All right, that's all I got for...
So #1 was Black Panther 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you think about, too, and I think this thing goes by, like, kind of recency bias of, like, how much things, like, normally fluctuate. And
Sure, okay.
the percentage-wise that it, like, improved from week to week.
Right, because
So-
cover A is going to make the biggest jump
Right.
from ratio variance.
So that one's the hotness still. How about it?
The new hotness, I'm trying to get the newest issue of Avengers, 53, because it's the first appearance of the Red Panther.
Yeah.
We're doing all kinds of red characters now.
I know, everyone wants to be red.
Radiant Black has the red.
Radiant Red.
Radiant Red, I guess.
There's Red Hulks. There's Red Panthers. What's next? Red America? Not in my country. Not in America.
Okay, thank you for saying it. All right,
Thank God.
let's move to our book. Actually, before we get to our book,
Yeah, I'm kind of parched. Let me take a quick drink here.
Oh, what are you sipping on?
the sound of that drink moving through your mouth and throat was
Delectable.
so
Succulent?
recognizable.
Oh, yeah. What did it sound
Can't
like?
be mistaken for anything but Boulevard's
Space Camper.
Cosmic IPA.
Cosmic IPA.
From Boulevard Brewing Company in our own Kansas City, Missouri, making some of the best IPAs you can get your hands on. Pick up Space Camper IPA.
Mhm. The official and only drink of the First Issue Club.
That's exactly right.
We have cut all of our water pipes leading into our homes.
Right. There is water in it.
Severed them. I shower in Cosmic IPA. I bathe in it. I brush my teeth with it. Wash my hands with it.
Yeah.
I'm a company
Bidet.
man. I'm a Boulevard Brewing Company man.
And they just re-released a variety pack that I'm loving. So you get different hop varieties with the classic Space Camper mix. And Giga Hop was one of the early varieties they did, and you haven't been able to find it for a while. So I'm excited that's back.
And he's back.
And I drank almost all of them right away.
And why wouldn't you? They're
Yep.
so delectable.
Yeah. Do you do that sometimes when you buy, like in the grocery store? You're just like, I gotta just,
I gotta get
s-
this Space Camper IPA in my mouth.
I
Oh,
gotta
right
just
now.
start drinking it in the
I
store?
gotta slam some of these
Yeah.
beers before the checkout line.
It's cool. I'm 21.
Yeah.
The thing that I do is I open the variety packs and I pick out the ones I want and then stick them in another box.
Oh,
And so I made my own.
So you have a full 12-pack of
yeah,
Giga
it is
Hop.
a variety.
Yeah,
pack.
exactly
Yeah.
right. I can do like just the 12-pack of Giga Hop that way.
Yeah. Sir, what are you doing? I'm making my own variety pack.
And then when other people
There's
open,
no rules.
Yeah,
that
it
they
says the
say that
word
I can't.
variety.
Yeah.
Be
So
hon-
thank you, Boulevard, for
Thank you,
sponsoring the
Boulevard.
show.
We're gonna pimp our charity work again this
Yep.
week and talk about a great event we have coming up. benefiting the Hope House in Kansas City.
Yes.
It's going to be at Cinderblock Brewing Company.
It is on March 6th.
March 6th. We're doing it with a bunch of other Kansas City podcasts. There's going to be raffles, which is how we're raising money. Boulevard Brewing Company with us has gotten a PlayStation 4 Pro up for auction. And then additionally, Boulevard Brewing Company is doing kind of a year of beer giveaway where you get like a
Beer
12-pack
for a
or
year.
something like that for a year.
And you have to drink it all in a day, though.
In one sitting, so it's going to be kind of rough, but...
The other podcasts are providing other raffle items, so it should be a fun thing if you can make it out.
Yes.
Please do. If you don't feel comfortable going out, find a way to get in touch with us. Happy to...
Yeah, if you want...
buy raffle tickets for you.
Absolutely.
And
if you want to
we'll
do that.
some Venmo stuff, and if you win, we'll ship the stuff to you. But however you can help, it's a great cause. You can look up, Google the Hope House in Kansas City if you want to learn more about that.
They do a ton of great work, and it's going to be super fun. It's a fun way to raise money for a great organization. So hopefully we see you guys on March 6th at Cinderblock Brewing
Co.
And you can win some prizes. It's going to be great.
All right, now let's get to Land of the Living Gods. My throat is sore. I've been talking nonstop this episode. I'm going to pass it off to one of you gents
Okay.
to say, what was this book about?
Well,
Can you do it in a sentence or less?
future
Afrofuturism done right?
done spiritual,
With a spiritual twist?
right? This author, I think, does a lot of South Africa stuff, but at least has like some movie media deal stuff.
Yeah, so this is their first comic they've written, actually. They're in charge of a film production company in South Africa.
Got it.
The artist, Santtos, has done 2 other comics in like European comics, and this is his first comic through Aftershock. So we kind of have a new dynamic duo here doing this book for Aftershock. I really loved kind of it looked almost like I was reading like a semi-finished sketchbook of how loose and like kind of watery the watercolors looked, and
Except for that, you find out the main character is albino, which I thought they were just sketching the main character.
Oh, okay.
And like not coloring them in. And then I was like, oh, they're albino.
Right.
You know what I appreciated? Albino characters are almost always villains. And I remember this being a thing when Da Vinci Code came out,
Right.
that everyone was like, why the fuck are albino people always treated like
powder.
the bad guy and vilified? And I was like, okay, hell yeah, let's have an albino lead and hero.
I think it's because, well, the trope is like probably those marginalized communities are picked on so much that they just kind of get jaded and become a supervillain. That's probably like what leads some writers to be like, well, if you're picked on the whole time, you'll probably just become a villain.
Yeah.
So shame on you, Dan Brown, first of all. Let's give our knocks where the knocks are due.
Someone picked on Dan Brown. For him to write so many books that's just like, hey, here's my treatise on why there's no God.
Oh yeah, definitely. Somebody shoved God down his throat.
He's gotta hang up for sure. I'm like, can't you just like not believe in it and chill out?
No.
No. Not when there's checks to cash. I thought this book was great. I thought it was kind of a unique take on Afrofuturism and like a desolate wasteland, and with the kind of spiritual, otherworldly twist of like you have a spiritual guide to this other world. I thought it was kind of cool, a mixture of 2 different genres. It felt a lot like what's that book that was on A Bitter Root on Image?
Yeah.
Kind of had that same feel, like excellence as well. Like I was just really enthralled with it, and for a first time creator writing, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I think like without the spiritual element, this would have been a really good like future post-apocalyptic Mad Maxian world. But the spiritual stuff makes it like pretty deep and fun. And then sometimes I will say a couple times complicated. Like I had to be like, wait, what is this thing? But in a good way. Like
I think so too. When it started, and you're kind of absorbing or realizing that, when she's speaking to her ancestors, she's literally speaking to her ancestors in like a spirit form.
Yeah.
Like a lot of comics and stories would have had the main character have this moment that was like,
They're real.
The ancestors are real.
A Scooby-Doo
I see
moment.
dead people.
But that was this. It was a really unique thing about this, that it was like, this is the world that it exists in. There's like this person, like this like spiritual liaison person she goes to that does like gives her a reading,
Right.
and has like this direct insight into the like spiritual world. And
Yeah, like he's like possessed by one of the spirits.
Yes.
Kind of gives her like a message of just like, you need to go find the living gods
Right.
and have them remember that you guys are still here on Earth.
And I kind of appreciated that the book just wasn't like, oh, spiritual readings, that's bullshit. And
Yeah.
then you find out like, oh, maybe there is more to it. It just set up this world in a way that's like, it's grounded in reality, but a lot of like the religiosity is firm and sound and like touchable, tangible,
Yeah.
I guess.
And there's also like commentary where it's like, how can people in this world not believe in religion when they see spirits? And
Right.
it's like,
That's a great point,
Yeah.
because it's just like these two worlds are living almost in harmony of, otherworldly futuristic tech and real religious like fervor and
There's also not that many people alive. Like, it's very.
yeah. So like obviously there's something that has happened to decimate this land, and further issues will explain that. But I mean, as far as the first issue goes, like the hook was fully baited, and I chomped down hard on it.
My favorite part of the comic was there is like a tree that's magical,
Boyo or Bio or something.
something like that.
Yeah.
Follows him around. It's a lot like the plant in Mario that like shoots fireballs.
Yeah, it's a tiny plant in a pot.
It's almost sentient.
It is, and
It
then
is
there's
sentient,
my
I
favorite
think.
part about it was there's a diagram that the main character drew a couple pages explaining all of the magical properties that it has, and it's like the kid is analyzing it, or the main character is analyzing it, being like, how can this be useful for me? And you find out all the magical properties that it has. I thought that was a really good way to explain the plant, and then to also like put it near the end, almost like editor notes, like
Right.
gives you a dip into like the future world of this like shit. Because if that wasn't there, you're just like, what is this plant? Did it block a arrow going into their skin, or like what exactly was it doing?
Yeah.
And then it's like very much magic plant.
Yeah. And I love that there's like these roving marauders who are like half tech, half human.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
cool looking.
That like the concept for some of these characters was just fucking bonkers, and, it was so cool.
And they're gonna sell an albino kid to get a bunch of money.
to some witches.
Oh, yeah.
So like there's like this element of like
So that's the other thing too, that how they deal with the language change. They'll put like one word in that is a different language. So,
an African language.
okay, yeah. And then, but then they like, so they just like, maybe it's a colloquial phrase.
Yeah.
And then they'll translate it and be like, the English version is that. I've actually never seen that way of integrated language before. We've read a handful of comics that does the Spanglish thing, where it just gives you the line in Spanish and doesn't give you the translation.
Right.
Not seen this where it just like pops in a word and only translates the word. It made for a kind of fun reading experience.
Yeah.
So good. This is a rare occasion where a first time or early comic book writing thing really worked. Normally we get a little bit of like, are you?
You could tell they don't understand the medium and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Well,
Well,
they
I
don't
mean,
appreciate it.
I
It's
think-
probably more so like
Yeah.
Yeah, but what this person has probably as a benefit is like they are a storyboard writer for like TV in South Africa. So like they know how to
turns
structure
out South Africa's got good comics too.
so they know how to structure like a episode of TV, which is an easy transition into an issue of a comic book, essentially. So,
Does this comic book make you want to be spiritual?
no.
I'm reading a book right now on.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Is it called The Bible?
No, it's actually about people who have used psychic techniques to discover more about archaeology.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't sound like a waste of time at all.
reading the book or just choosing that as a career path?
Yeah, I guess the reading
Kind
the
of
book.
both.
Yeah, the reading the book is even worse. Like doing it is a waste of time, and then reading a book about people that do it.
Tell you what, if you're persuasive enough to convince people that you're psychic and you can like do archaeological digs with your mind, good on you.
Well, I just was
Is
like,
the idea like, oh, there was a big trauma here. We must dig down and find Pompeii.
Somewhere there was a house.
okay,
here?
that's honestly not far off from what they're doing. I was just like, okay, if this is documented and this existed, I at least want to know about how this happened.
So this is what a swindler looks like.
10 pages in, I'm not thinking they're
10 pages
I'm
in.
not thinking they're completely crazy.
I have never judged a book by 10 pages.
I've never had anyone tell me, "Oh, I'm reading this book," and they're not even a chapter into it yet.
You just read the foreword.
You have to.
I started it yesterday.
You have to get through the first chapter to tell people you're reading a book.
Can't say.
I skimmed a book.
Okay, sorry. I'm in preparation of reading a book.
There you go.
Yeah.
My preparatory methodology is reading the first 10 pages.
You just started the foreplay for that book.
Yeah, exactly right.
So are you reading?
You're not in its guts yet.
You can say you're reading Dune.
He's like over halfway done with that book. Dune's huge.
He's been reading it for fucking ever. Every day I have to hear
so
about
now
it.
you're gonna criticize his reading level.
Every day you have to hear about. I read about a third of Dune on a train ride, and then I haven't really touched it since.
You know what's not fun to read? Dune.
Correct.
It's heavy. I got through it's broken into like 3 books or
Yes.
something. I read the first book
Mm-hmm.
and a chapter or 2 after that.
Wait, we've talked about why it's a shitty read.
I don't think we have.
At the time, that author was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to break the mold, and I'm just going to, instead of giving like the format is set up and like take them on an epic journey, they're like, I'm just gonna toss them into an immersive world and create an immersive environment." That's actually a terrible way to read a book.
It is.
Great for a comic.
Yeah. But I'll say, having lived in a world where dunes existed for like 50 years or however long, like going back and reading it now is a completely enjoyable experience because I just have enough of a foundation already.
So when it first came out and there was no basis,
I think I would have been fucking lost. I would have been so lost.
I think it was one of those things where they were like, "Doth my hat, I read Dune."
like hyper nerds were really into it.
Yeah.
Just like finally something that confuses
Oh
me.
yeah.
I'll say if you watch like the new movie
Mm-hmm.
and
Which is up for Best Picture.
is it really?
Mm-hmm.
If you really dug that,
Which I did.
then just go to the book.
Go to it. It's calling you.
Having
and-
read
and I'll say
read the book, I feel like the movie's better.
I typically say that about all books.
there's a couple scenes or a couple scenarios in the book that I'm like, oh, I wish this was in the movie, but it wouldn't have made sense with how many characters they threw at you. But on the whole, the movie is like so extremely true to the book.
Oh, I
Like,
that's only
it-
part one.
I
it was
fucking love the movie.
So true to the book.
People were like, "There's no words. There's just epic music over and over again."
Sweet.
And I'm just like, "Yeah, you ever seen a movie? It's like fun to see a movie like that. It's the point of a fucking
Ever
movie."
listened to a sleep album?
And then people started making this hot take about like, well, technically the first Dune's not that bad with Sting.
oh, it's
hated that
terrible.
There's a lot of people who get really mad about people talking shit on that movie, but
Come at us,
even the director's
It's
like,
a Eraserhead guy, right?
I don't.
David Lynch.
No, it's
Yeah.
David Lynch. Even David Lynch is,
Is that
like,
not
I don't
Eraserhead?
like the movie.
David Lynch didn't do Eraserhead.
No, I don't think so.
Was that Ed Wood? Well, that's a discussion for the Patreon. Did David Lynch do Eraserhead?
Yeah, don't contact us about whether or not he did it. We'll have found out by the time.
Yeah,
by the
you
time
just-
you have
you just-
found out,
You know what?
We've already
Your
found
film
out, too.
trivia doesn't need to be appear on to us in email form or Twitter form.
yeah, just go
We'll-
to Patreon. We're talking about it already.
We cover comics, not movies here. So
We love the interaction. This corrections are not this type of interaction we like. We'll have found out by now.
I got $100 that David Lynch did Eraserhead.
I'm not going to take that bet because I don't
You-
care enough.
So now that hold on, now that all three of us are here for this episode,
Yeah.
and last week, Mike D texted us and said, "Come with thoughts on the Korn album."
Yeah, he heard the episode.
Did you have particular thoughts on the Korn album? Madutsiv.
Oh, it was one of the best albums that came out that week. Jonathan Davis has no voice. He's like, can't hold an album with his throat. But on the whole, the music, it was like, it sounded like Korn or like the better parts of Korn.
Yeah, it did.
And then I think if there had been like another good album or two that came out that week, I would have been like, I don't even need to finish this Korn album. But since the week as a whole was so bad for new music, and the Korn album was like, this kind
Decent enough.
this is better than I expected for a Korn album. I kind of enjoyed it.
You're intentionally just shitting on the Animal Collective album that came out that week?
Oh, do you think that Animal Collective album was like a gift to God?
It's really good.
Oh my God.
People are saying that to me too, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, no thanks. We're ending the podcast.
Bye, everyone.
It's a cool take to just be like, oh, I hate this. Like,
Cut the audio.
First Issue Club is brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company via Space Camper Cosmic IPA. Our music is courtesy of the fine folks at Primary Color Music. You can find, friend, and follow us on social media at First Issue Club or firstissueclub.com. You can support First Issue Club by joining us on our Patreon for additional content at patreon.com/firstissueclub.